went to hotels in Kentucky, and I saw at one hotel that many babies were being brought into the hotels, and the hotel was very electrically hazardous. And the babies were like infants who couldn't open doors. They could barely walk, and they would walk around. They were very short, small babies, infants who learned to walk. They were around 2 years old, and they walked around the hotel holding the hand of the person who was bringing them in the hotel. And they looked afraid. They looked very afraid, their eyes wide open. They weren't smiling. They weren't happy. They didn't look good, well stimulated by their environment. They looked instead to be affected by their environment, and they looked like they were in pain and suffering. Many infants, and I saw many babies coming in the hotel. And I went around Kentucky and Louisville, and every place was electrically hazardous. Some places were less electrically hazardous than others, and most places were very electrically hazardous. I think all buildings were very electrically hazardous. And the babies and infants, the 2-year-olds, they were probably in equal danger at the hotel as they were in many other buildings in Louisville, because the electrical hazardousness was occurring in very many areas in Louisville that people could not escape. I went to different cities in Kentucky, and there were very bad electrical disasters occurring in many cities. And in rural areas, nobody could escape the electricity in Kentucky, anywhere they went to. But there were some places in the rural area where they might be safer, though electricity was hazardous there also. I went to many places. I explored Kentucky looking for safe places, and everyone was in danger equally. Very many people had health symptoms that I could see that were of indication that they had received an injury that was probably either caused by electricity or biological rotten food that might cause it. But they had symptoms that looked like they were dying, maybe dying of a liver disease. They had jaundice. Many people had jaundice. I see many people throughout the country have jaundice, of yellowing of the skin. I guess it's either caused by electricity or mass rotten food served to many of us. And so many people have yellow skin. It's not normal. It's not a normal characteristics of health. And I looked at the kids, the little babies. I looked at the toddlers. I didn't think to look at them and see if their skin was yellowing. They were in so much danger. I wish I could help them. The people guiding them along, holding their hands, did not look like their fathers typically, but looked like other people. There were African Americans holding the toddlers' hands, walking them around in the hotel. And there were Hispanic Americans holding their hands, walking them around at other places. They would scream for help me, sometimes, and nobody would help them. And they would walk around with a stranger's hand, it seemed. But perhaps instead of that, their parents had died, or they were foster children. I don't know. But many children were being walked around and carried by strangers who they didn't know. They looked like they didn't know the stranger. They were holding the stranger's hand, trusting the stranger wouldn't cause him to be injured. And the toddler, he would go into the hotel with the stranger. I don't know what happened to them after that. I just hope they didn't die in the hotel, because often I could hear electricity that was killer inside of the hotel, sparking everywhere loudly, that would burn me sometimes, that I would escape as soon as I could out of the hotel. And some of the rooms had that constantly occurring spark, very loudly, very densely occurring, frequent sparks occurring in the hotel rooms. I knew that it was kind of a deadly place, and I'm hoping that the infants and toddlers and babies were not put in those rooms in the hotel. I went to many places and people were being injured with electricity. That's all places that I went in multiple states.